Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am the Dependent Fanatic, and welcome to my Dependent Fanatic channel. It's all about Michigan sports, Michigan football right now. Hockey is 2-2. They split their first two series of the season, and I do basketball as well. But this season, I'm not looking forward to as much as previous seasons. But there is this thing going around. Allegedly, Michigan is stealing signs and from other teams, sending people to games that they've already played to get their signs and stuff. I don't understand. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation going around right now. Is Harbaugh really doing this? I do not condone cheating, so that would be just an utter disappointment of mine if he actually knowingly was doing this, or anyone in the organization. Or is it disgruntled opponents? Is it the NCAA with their witch hunt on Michigan? But this just keeps adding up. Uh, More things all the time. We're talking about Shemi Schembechler and Matt Weiss and the Don and Mozzie Smith and all these things that everyone's trying to get Michigan for. Is it because just because we're good and we're in the limelight again now, or are we really doing these things? I don't know. It was proven that Mozzie Smith had a gun in his car, but why? You have to ask questions. You have to have an investigation on these things. And I'm at the point where I just don't want my title vacated after Michigan wins the whole thing. I said that in the video. If I can go find that video, I'll post it up in the comments. But I said, just don't ruin this season with any off the field issues, because Michigan is going to be really good. And man, it's been off the field issues one after another. But let's get to. So I'm going to let that simmer before I even do any kind of a video or have a formulate an opinion on what's going on there. Let's get into some picks. Let's get into college football week 8. And I have 15 games for you this week. Way more than the 9 I had for you last week. Last week I went 7-2 straight up, and in the games that I decided I would bet, I was 3-3. So I've had better weeks. But let's see if we can bounce back with the first game at noon is the biggest game of the entire year, people are saying, until Michigan plays these two teams. Well, maybe this is the bigger game because we get to see what they do against each other before they each play Michigan. Penn State is at Ohio State. The line is 4.5 now for Penn State. I just looked at them earlier today. I made my prediction a couple of nights ago. So let's see how they differ and whether I would bet. I waffled on this thing. Penn State, I had winning, and then Ohio State, and then Penn State. I settled on Penn State winning this game, 34-28, actually. I think Penn State's defense is better than Ohio State's, and Ohio State cannot run the ball. They do have Marvin Harrison on track, and Emeka Egbuka, and McCord is looking better. But that offensive line just can't move people, and if Penn State knows that, it's game over. I think they win by 6, 34-28, and I would bet that game on the money line because Ohio State's favored by 4.5. The next game for you is UCF at Oklahoma. The line opened at 19, and I was all over that for UCF, but now it's 17.5 for Oklahoma. I had Oklahoma winning by 17, 38-21. So I'm going to just stay away from this game. I think a late field goal here for either team could win it and ruin my bet there in that game. not that UCF is a great team, but Oklahoma, after a bye, coming off that exhilarating win versus Texas, I think they will only score 38 in this game, and they'll give up 21. Rutgers, after beating Michigan State, is now at Indiana. And for the Michigan State preview video, I had a couple of beers that night, I won't lie. So sorry for stumbling words or taking you down a different train of thought that I had. That kind of stuff happens. I probably shouldn't have posted that video, but if you want to watch that, I might put that on the card too, so you can laugh and point. Rutgers is at Indiana, and they're favored by 5 points. I think Rutgers wins by 6. So what do I do with that? Rutgers 27-21 is what I have. I'm going to bet it. On the road at Indiana, I think they can win. They did not cover the spread versus Michigan State like I thought they would last week. They will this week. Come on, Rutgers, 6-2. That's what you could be. At 3:30, Washington State is at Oregon, and Oregon's favored by 20. I think this is a overreaction of Washington State's beatdown against Arizona, in that Arizona beat them down. So the overreaction, this happens all the time. Oregon, I think, does win the game. 36-27, though. They gave up some points to a pretty good Washington team, one of the best offenses in the country. Washington State ain't that far behind. I think it's a 9-point game for Oregon, not 20. Give me Washington State and 20 points in this game. That's on at 3:30. And at 3:30, Tennessee is at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 9.5 points. Used to be 9. I wish I would have got it then. But I think Alabama rolls Tennessee. Joe Milton on the road at Alabama. Come on, as a Michigan fan, I know that is a disaster waiting to happen. 41-17 Alabama. And Tennessee doesn't have a defense, not even the defense they had last year. So I think Alabama rolls that game. They'll win by 9.5 points. Alabama minus that. South Carolina is at Missouri, and Missouri is 6-1 team. South Carolina held Georgia to a close game. Missouri is favored by 7.5, but at home, I just think they're the better team. It won't be easy for them to score on that South Carolina defense, but they'll get 31 points, and they'll give up 17. That is a 14-point spread, so give me Missouri minus 7.5. It used to be 7. I was more comfortable with that number, but we're rolling with it here. It's a later video than I thought. Drywall business is booming right now, so that's good, but I'm at work most of the time, and I don't have a smartphone. I get home and I see the breaking news, and then I decide what I'm going to do with these games and with videos and etc. Minnesota is at Iowa. Iowa is favored by 3.5 points. Still, I like Iowa beating that barely. I think they only give up probably 3 to Minnesota, and they'll score 10. That's a 7-point game. Iowa minus 3.5. Why not? Wisconsin at Illinois. Wisconsin is favored by 2.5 points. I had them winning 28-27. That's only a 1-point game. So should I change my opinion to believe that Wisconsin can win by a field goal instead of 1 point? I can't do it. I think Illinois. Give me 2.5 points with Illinois, but I'm not betting this game, and I'm not betting the Iowa game either, for the record. So there are 3 games that I've listed that I'm not betting. UCF in Oklahoma, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois. At 4 o'clock, Texas is at Houston. Houston just had a disappointing loss to West Virginia last week at home versus They had their old coach, Houston, did, and it didn't turn out the way they wanted it. Texas is favored by 23.5 after a bye week. That's way too much, I think. I think, rust or rest is a concern for Texas and Oklahoma, I believe, and anyone who had a bye last week. I think Texas wins, but only 34-17. I do think they give up some points, 3 scores to Houston. So give me Houston and 23.5 points there. And then 7:30, Michigan is at Michigan State for the Battle of the Paul Bunyan Trophy. Will it stay at Michigan? Michigan is favored by 24 points. I had 31. I thought Michigan would win 38-7. I made the mistake of not betting Michigan last week. And if they are stealing signals, they already stole these ones. So, I think Michigan covers this spread at Little Brother at 7:30 in prime time on NBC. We show them what we're made of. Duke is at 7:30 as well at Florida State. Florida State's favored by 14.5. It used to be 14, so that's one line that moved in my favor. I like Duke hanging with Florida State in this game. I had them losing just by 7 points. Florida State wins 31-24. So give me Duke and 14.5 points. Army at LSU. Yeah, I know. Should probably stay away from these blowout games, but LSU is a 32-point favorite. They used to be 30, another line that I think is in my favor. I have LSU winning 49-21. Yes, they're going to give up some points to Army. Their defense isn't electric or special, LSU. And Army always has that tricky style of play that teams have to be ready for. Give me Army and 32 points in this game. But, yeah, I'm going to bet it. I bet all these ones. So, going back to Texas. At 8 o'clock, Utah is at USC. USC is favored by 6.5 points. And that's a no-brainer to me. I think they win by 10, 38-28. USC minus 6.5 points. I bet that game. At 8 o'clock as well, or 9 o'clock, Clemson is at Miami. And, a couple of the top teams with Clemson has 2 losses. Miami has 1 in the ACC. I think Clemson is favored by 3.5. I think they win by 3. So I'm going to stay away from this game because I actually would pick Miami to cover that spread with that hook on 3.5. But, it's not enough for me to make that decision right there. At 10:30, the last game for you, the 15th game this week, Arizona State is at Washington. Washington is favored by 26.5 points. Listen, their defense gave up a lot too. Yes, against a good Oregon offense, but the week before gave up some points against Arizona, who is a good team, getting better, good offense. I think Arizona State can do some of these same things. I think Washington wins 41-28. That's only a 13-point spread, less than half of what the Vegas spread is. So I'm going to bet that game as well. Give me Arizona State with 26.5 points. So there you have it. This Thursday night, 9:30. Those are my picks. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, which will probably be some reaction videos, unless I do decide to do a video that pertains to Michigan athletics. In one way, shape, or form, the basketball season's coming up. I haven't done a preview for the season yet. I did one for hockey, and I wish it could be better, but they're trading blowouts. so far in the first two series that they have had. And of course, Michigan basketball. So thank you, or football. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Yes, I do have trouble with words. I think I have dyslexia. I'm not sure. Plus, I've had a couple beers tonight too. So you'll have to expect that from Dependent Fanatic. That's not why. It's not why my name is that, I promise. Thank you everybody and have a great night.